Hello everyone, welcome to the online session of social science. Today we are going to study history and the name of the chapter is When People Rebel 1857 and After. It is also called the Revolt of 1857. It is also known as First War of Indian Independence. The expansion of the British territories in India and their policies had adversely affected all sections of Indian people: the Rajas, the Nawabs, the landlords, the sepoys, and the peasants. By the mid 19th century, the British had firmly established their political control over India. What is a mutiny? An act of a group of people, especially sailors or soldiers, refusing to obey the person who is in command. This is called mutiny. And who is a sepoy? Indian soldiers who served in the army of Europeans were known as sepoy. Now we are going to study the causes of the revolt. What were the reasons of the revolt? Why the people protested? Political causes. The annexation of states by the subsidiary alliance system and the doctrine of lapse created unrest among the rulers of India. The rulers of Hyderabad, Mysore, Jodhpur, Jaipur, Bharatpur, etc. were forced to accept the subsidiary alliance system. The princes of the estates were denied their rights of succession. The company did not recognize the adopted son of Rani Lakshmi Bai of Jhansi as the heir to the throne after her husband's death. The pension to Nana Sahib, the adopted son of Peshwa Baji Rao II, was denied and he was forced to live in Kanpur, far away from his ancestral place in Pune. Administrative causes. All the higher posts under civil and military services were reserved for the British only. This caused anger among the aristocratic Indian class, which was deprived of power and position. The highest post for an Indian in military was that of a Subedar, and in the civil services was that of a Sadr Amin. Military causes. New rules like crossing of the sea introduced by the British hurt the religious sentiments of the sepoys. In those days, crossing the sea meant losing one's religion and caste. When the sepoys were asked to fight for the company in Burma in 1824, they refused to go by the sea. They preferred going by the land route. In the year 1856, the company had to pass a new law making it compulsory for the army persons to go overseas whenever required. Economic causes. Peasants and zamindars were against the high taxes as well as harsh methods of revenue collection. In the newly acquired territories, the British had totally ignored the landlords and had established direct contact with the peasants. Unable to pay high revenues, the peasants had to either lose their lands or fall prey to the moneylenders. Large areas of lands were confiscated and sold by auction to the highest bidders. The decline of Indian handicrafts and industries and the resulting employment caused discontent among people. Social and religious causes. The British considered themselves as superior to the Indians. They described the Hindus as barbarians and the Muslims as cruel and intolerant. The British officers often assaulted and insulted the Indians publicly and were let off with little or no punishment. They taxed the lands belonging to the Hindu temples and Muslim mosques and hurt their religious sentiments. Immediate cause. In 1856, the British government introduced a new rifle called the Enfield rifle for the army. The rifle had a greased paper attached round the cartridge. In order to load the rifle, a sepoy had to bite off the paper with his mouth. In 1857, a rumor spread that the greased cartridge was made from the fat of pigs and cows. This deeply hurt the religious sentiments of both the Hindus and the Muslims. The sepoys refused to use the new rifles and decided to revolt. This incident gave the necessary spark to the fire of anger and discontent burning in the hearts of Indians. The outbreak and spread of the revolt. The revolt began on 29th March 1857 when a sepoy, Mangal Pandey, attacked his officers at Barakpur. He was hanged to death. On 9th May 1857, 85 sepoys of the 3rd Cavalry Regiment refused to use the greased cartridges and were sentenced to 10 years in jail. On 10th May, a group of soldiers marched towards the Meerut jail, shot the British officers, and released their fellow sepoys from jail. They seized all the arms and ammunition from there and set fire to the buildings and British properties. Thus, a formal war was declared against the British. The rebel sepoys then marched towards Delhi on the night of 10th May itself and reached there the next morning. On hearing the news of their arrival, the sepoys in Delhi also rose in rebellion. They also set the British buildings and properties on fire and captured their arms. They gathered round the Red Fort and declared Emperor Bahadur Shah Zafar as their leader. Greatly inspired by the rebels, the emperor asked all the rulers of India to join their hands together in their fight against the British. The local rulers and chiefs saw this as an opportunity to regain their lost power and authority. They readily gave their support to the rebels. That is all for today, everyone. The remaining part we will see in next session. Thank you.